This is Lieutenant Commander Jim Haft. I'm with the External Affairs Branch of the Joint Information Center, and I'm pleased to introduce Rear Admiral Mary Landry. She is the Federal On-Scene Coordinator for Deepwater Horizon Response. And so, without further ado, Admiral.
Good afternoon, everyone. Do you want me to just open with a few remarks
Yes,
about? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm familiar with this format in the Bloggers Roundtable. We've used this for the last few years in the Coast Guard, and certainly it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a very good way of trying to reach a large audience and answer questions you might have that you haven't been able to have a chance to get from the regular press interviews and that. So it's great to be here. Let me give you a little background about how I arrived at this position, and then we'll open it up to questions. I'm the 8th District Commander of the Coast Guard, which is headquartered in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's about 26 states, and it includes the Gulf Coast and the offshore oil and gas area, and it also includes, the inland rivers, the Mississippi River, the Missouri, the Ohio. And as the 8th District Commander, I have 7 sectors, 4 of which are the Gulf Coast sectors. And when this incident occurred, one of the sectors, the Morgan City office, was handling the offshore incident, and we were handling the search and rescue case from our New Orleans Command Center. And once the incident occurred, it became obvious that the scale and scope was such that we would need to stand up what's called an area command, and I'm the Federal On-Scene Coordinator for what would be the Gulf Coast response. So some of you are probably familiar with the structure and all that, but I just wanted to give you a context of when I stood up as area commander as a Federal On-Scene Coordinator for the Gulf Coast. And then as you all are familiar now, probably Admiral Allen is the National Incident Commander. And this is a concept under the Homeland Security Presidential Directive number 5 that says that if the Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Napolitano, is a leader among equals in the cabinet level, the cabinet of the president. And as a leader among equals, she coordinates incidents that are very nationally significant. And it soon became apparent that this was not only an issue for the Gulf Coast, but it was an issue for the nation. So Admiral Allen, being named the National Incident Commander, allows the national level issues to be worked from DC and around. And I'm down here at the area level working the response. And I think I'll stop there and allow you to ask questions you might have of this response to date. We're coming up on the 1-month anniversary of this incident.
Okay, great. Thank you, ma'am. I know that Brad was the last person to call in, and there was a number of other people that called in. Can I please get your names, please?
This is R.L. Miller.
R.L. Miller?
Yes.
Did anyone call in after R.L. Miller? Excuse me. Anyone else?
This is Leslie Berlian.
Thank you, Leslie. Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Leslie. Andrew, you were first on the call. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Admiral Andrew Lubin from Leatherneck Magazine. Thanks for taking the time today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks. Admiral, question here for you. The news over the weekend with these undersea plumes of oil, several miles by several miles, drifting towards the loop, which is going to bring them into the Florida Keys, they're afraid. Secretary Salazar and Admiral Allen have been pushing BP to confirm that they're going to accept liability for more than $75 million. Have they done that? And if not, have they said they're not going to accept liability?
It's my understanding that the letter was written. I am not up to date on what the response was from BP. I've seen the testimony, I've seen the statements by the CEO. I also know to date that we have spent over $500 million on this response, some of which is federal dollars under the Oil Pollution Act of 1990 and the trust fund, but a small percentage is that. We've only reached about $60 million there. The rest of this over $500 million response has been borne by BP.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Andrew. Chuck, you were next. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Chuck Simmons from America's North Shore Journal. 2 very quick items. First of all, can you talk about the status of the Ocean Saratoga spill? And also, the tar balls that were found on Dauphin Island in Alabama, have they been identified as to their origin?
I'm not familiar with the first incident, the Saratoga spill.
The Ocean Saratoga spill is currently occurring in the Gulf, according to news reports,
Well,
the west of Deepwater Horizon.
oh, okay. Well, the tar balls, I can tell you for the tar balls on Dauphin Island for sure have been identified as linked to this Deepwater Horizon incident. Some of the other tar balls that have been found are not linked to the Deepwater Horizon spill, but we are going to continue to map that. That's a very important process. And then as far as the Saratoga spill, I haven't been kept up to date with that, but we are monitoring and tracking all the science on this, and we'll definitely be able to figure out the source of what spill, which oil is which, and what spill is taking place out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Chuck. Dale, you were next.
Yes, ma'am. This is Dale Kissinger from MilitaryAvenue.com. Can you tell me how many federal resources you have under your command and where they're from, and do you have any limitations on those?
Let me just explain. First of all, I said we spent up to $60 million thus far under the federal project, and those are the federal resources. But understand that trust fund, it's still going to be the cost of the responsible party. The responsible party will bear these costs, not only for what BP has paid thus far, but also the $60 million that we have basically budgeted for with all the federal responses. The agencies that are involved, I would call it a whole of government. We have everything from DOD to National Guard working for the governors to EPA, Department of Interior, Department of State, Agriculture, Labor. It's a whole of government response. There's many facets to the spill. It's very complex. And I would say that ask me an agency that isn't involved, and I might be able to tell you answer that better than telling you all that are involved. And as far as the assets themselves, examples of, like, for instance, Navy soup salve had skimmers and boom. We've used some of the Navy inventory of boom. We used NGA, the National Geospatial Agency is here helping us. So there's many agencies involved, and that's the national good that's coming from this. This is a terribly tragic incident, but the national good that comes from this is and what you can bring together to respond to it is quite remarkable and demonstrates the capabilities that we have as a country.
Thank you very much. Can you give me a total number of people involved?
We're up to almost 20,000 people, and I can tell you that everybody here, and Robert is working very hard. I know people are working hard in Mobile and at the command post in Homa, but I also know that people are working hard in agencies across the country, because even if you're not right here, you're back somewhere else backing up the people that are here, and there's a tremendous amount of work going on across governments, across state and in the private sector. You cannot believe the effort that's been put forth to respond to this.